Hey everyone. So here I'm going to talk about my new map, Empire Center. Now the cool thing about this showcase, like over my previous showcase of what's it called, Full Metal Castle, is a few different things. So firstly, all this is before playtesting, right? So I'm gonna be more so talking about how I design things to work and how I expect things to work, as well as what I'll be looking for in the playtesting. And then later on, once I actually do playtest it, uh, we'll see how those predictions come through. But on top of that, like I did just finish the map like this morning, so uh, pretty much everything in terms of like design choices, I remember about as much as I can. And that's different from Empire Center because I made the video on Empire Center weeks, maybe even months after I made the map. So at that point, I've already long forgotten the reasons why I put certain things in, and I more so remember the effects of it. So in a way, you could say that I remember it more so as a player over time, and less so as a designer over time. Um, but yeah, this there was no place testing going into this. Everything I remember is in terms of design and like uh, how I want that to affect gameplay and stuff. So yeah, I think it's gonna be fun to see. Fun to show like just I guess like the whole process of like seeing what I want tested and stuff. Uh, but yeah, that'll be a little bit later because of course I'm just gonna be like because it's just like the first part where I say how this is supposed to function, how that's supposed to function, and then later on we'll actually see how it does function. So anyway, I think that was a little bit more rambly than it should have been. All right, so I guess I'll talk about pretty much how I got to start designing this map. It's based on a place in Brooklyn called the Empire Stores. I think it's a cool looking shopping center, and I decided to make one of like the same style. Um, so yeah, I wanted to make one of the same style, and then the first thing I really figured out was the layout that I was gonna go with, and the layout, uh, as I said in the what do you call it? What's the map called? The other map showcase video. That pretty much like the layout and like general traits, like sort of like the general traits of like the layout are really important. So um, like if I come up here, you'll see that there's this wide open area in the middle that you can see across. So half of the middle area is this wide open area, and then the other half of the middle is this uh more enclosed area that is somewhat segmented off from the big wide area over here. If you go down, it's wide open at the bottom here, where of course you're still protected at where you're still protected from people who are out there for the most part. And then on top of that, you have like this flat area that's pretty high up, and then these roofs that are a little bit more elevated. Oh my goodness, with game streaming. Is it good now? Alright, I think I'm gonna skip to when it's good. Alright, and as I was saying, a little bit above this high up flat area are these roofs that are the highest part of the map. Alright, so uh, the importance of this is to oh it is to balance out the what's it called? What am I trying to say? Okay, hold on. The importance of having these general traits in the sideline is to balance out the vertical engagements. That's it. Alright, so you have this middle area where, like I said, you're mostly segmented from like the people who are down in this area. You can see into there to a limited degree, and sort of the way that you do that changes with verticality, right? So you can engage people who are at these layers if you're at the right spot to do that, which would often involve moving between layers, as they can do too. Like if they have a hole in the map somewhere, they can be really safe moving between those layers. But yeah, you have some opportunity to be able to challenge them. I actually forgot to talk about the rocket launchers in this map, right? So there are 2 rocket launcher spawns, one right here and one right here. This one shows in the spawn camera, but I couldn't really get this one to fit without looking bad and without like restricting the visibility of the hookshot in the spawn camera. Alright, but I think I think seeing like this, I think seeing one of them is enough information. Like I said, I would have liked to get the other one in there, but just the angling of it would have to be kind of weird. So hopefully that's not much of a problem. Like this one is like more generally exposed to the map. So hopefully people will learn where that one is too after they play a little bit. But largely the value of the rocket launcher is sort of like a substitute or like a supplement for grenades. If I come up here, I know like things are a bit laggy right now. Alright, but if I come up here, I have these 2 grenades, and these are like the only grenades in the map. I like to have grenades in the map in case like someone's doing well and like the players who they're playing against are like sort of wasting grenades. Right, so if someone's like doing well and like they don't have grenades because like players who aren't playing well are sort of just wasting them. I think that's sort of like a sad sort of situation to be in. So I would like to have like some amount of grenades on the map so that people can replenish, so that they don't get easier to kill as time goes on. So they don't have to like avoid throwing grenades or just not be able to. So you have a way to replenish, even if it's a little like out of your way to get to it. If you want grenades, you can go get them without having to rely on people. Without having to rely on the fact that they're not wasting their grenades. Besides that, there are no other grenades in the map, and this is like a sort of exposed area. So I want rocket launchers to largely be a supplement to grenades, seeing as when you pick it up, you should get 9 total shots. Right? Where you get 9 total shots, and you can blow it up on walls. And you can see that there are a lot of like large flat walls here where you wouldn't be able to, where you could use a sticky grenade on. But a rocket launcher will be able to destroy much more, and it's gonna end up doing things much quicker. Plus, it'll be much easier to aim since there's no arc or anything. So just like one shot, and then you can immediately go through the whole grenade as a new route. I think it's gonna have a lot of value once like things are like starting to be destroyed. So like someone might punch through like one of these and like use it as a way to like go through, right? That's one of the things I want to see. I'll talk more about like what I want to see in the gameplay in a bit. But in general, like I want to see like people breaking through things to create new routes or sight lines, right? Just like in Full Metal Castle, a little bit more so than Full Metal Castle because I still made the verticality to actually give more value and interest to that. So yeah, I want to see people doing that just in general, and the rocket launchers are a way to supplement that. So both to encourage people to do it more by giving them a better means to do it, and let's see, for people to do it more by giving them better means to do it, and just to like have something for them to go for, specifically to improve it. So you know, you want to break the wall, you can very much use grenades, but you know, you would probably prefer to use the rocket launcher. And you know, if other players would also prefer to use the rocket launcher, that you know, that's gonna have it be contested, uh, as it spawns and stuff. So on top of just things being broken in general, I want to also often see it happen from the rocket launchers. And in terms of breaking things like this, something I sort of want to see, and well, intentionally breaking things to get to places. This is something I sort of want to see in like every match, right? It more so goes on like the frequency of players using these things. So because this map is suited for like should be suited for like 6 to 10 players. I think there should generally be 1 or 2 players who would actually do that. And of course, it's sort of my job to sort of encourage that, right? So, so a major thing actually that I forgot to mention is the glass here. Well, not here, but like everywhere. I think should serve more or less as a prompt for people to break things. So with like these outer sort of stores and stuff, you can break in for safety. So like you're fighting someone over here, right? So you break line of sight, then you break into the building, and now you have somewhere with cover. You can like use like the you can like use the glasses cover plus like the stuff that's in the building. If they're being aggressive, that's gonna make it really easy to punish them as they're like coming through here, for example. Just as a specific example, of course, right? So you know, people might break into buildings for safety, but then you know, let's say you are coming down here, but you have a rocket launcher. You can easily just break in like that, right? And if you took some damage, you can easily like regen, right? And now this whole thing is open. It's not nearly as safe as it was before, just because he had a rocket launcher. And of course, you can do the same with grenades, but like I said, grenades, you don't really, they're not going to be really high in supply, so. Yeah, the rocket launcher should definitely be a good supplement to that. And then once you, and then with buildings like this, you know, the value's a lot more because you can't just use a frag grenade, you'd have to use a sticky grenade for it. And there's also some more add value once you're at long range because of like the lack of arc. So yeah, that's like the sort of value that I want to see from the rocket launcher. I want to see people breaking through things largely. I'm not sure if I mentioned the glass thing yet, but like largely using the glass to show people the value of breaking things, because like now you know like exactly what you'll have once you go through. So you're not going to be surprised by like a player waiting to clear something. Like, well, you might, right? Like someone could be like intentionally concealing themselves, but that's not going to be very common. So I want to see people taking advantage of destructibility like that. I'm not sure I mentioned this earlier, but I want to also see the middle layers of the map being more used than the very top and bottom. So I uh, I have like certain things to balance out the roof areas on the map. So like I have this right here that people with like the most basic jumping skill can come across this, right? As a way of challenging people on the roof. Not just this roof, but also this roof over here. With this like one specific route. Over here, like this whole pool platform. What do you call it? Threatens both of these parts of the roof. Right, and again, like no like jumping skill required here because you just have staircases going up, right? And if you do have some jumping skill, oops, I have no jumping skill right now because my game streaming is a bit laggy. But if you do have some jumping skill, you can also come up here. This is super exposed, but like if you were fighting someone, right, you got in like 1 or 2 shots on them, you could come up here to finish them off. Right, so there should be plenty of ways to be able to discourage people from going onto the roof as much as I'm sure they will like try to take advantage of it. I think that there's a lot you can do against that. Easier to discourage would be the whole bottom area of the map. Right, so like as I was sort of saying with like this like more enclosed side of the map, as the fact that you can like move between the layers like over here is sort of for safety. But once you get to this point, you can be very much punished for it because now you're in like you're in part of this open area where people from basically anywhere can drop down to. Now I'd very much discourage having like a fall like this generally because that's a lot of damage that you're taking. I think yeah, that should actually be enough to be one shot by a pistol or a battle rifle, assuming it's a headshot. If I remember correctly, it's like 60 something damage to do that. So you could actually like take a fall like this, and I think that's actually enough damage to be one shot. I think that's exactly where like I tested it with someone. So I'll generally discourage doing a fall just like that. But let's say you're fighting someone like they're going between layers. This is like the lowest they can be before dropping down to either the hookshot level or this bottom level. Right, and from here you can easily contest like them on this hookshot platform. So if they drop down, they're exposed. They're exposed, and they hardly have any cover to use. They have this fountain. They have a few pillars, but then otherwise they have to go pretty decent ways to be able to get to safety. So going down, it's like moving like downwards for safety is rewarding to a point. But then you just get punished for it. And if you're going like right here, you're not doing it for safety because of you're not like super exposed. Like part of the point of like this of having this here is to also like help balance out the roof, which I'll show you. Where like well, not the roof, but just like the higher areas where you can sort of see like the hookshot spawn, but it's gonna be relatively hard to contest it. So someone can come over here, pick it up, and then now they have the ability to come up to you quite quickly. So Uh, so yeah, somewhat exposed. So like you're exposed enough here so that you're probably not going to be moving down here for safety. You're going to be moving down here to get the hook shot, which you could use for safe play, but you're not getting safe play in that moment. So you're either planning for safe play or you're doing a move that's for aggression. Right? So, safety to a certain point, and then you're going to be really exposed and highly punishable for doing that. So yeah, that's sort of like the general things I want to see in the map. I think I sort of think I'm forgetting something specific. I'm not sure what though. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I said this right. But I want to keep an eye on like how the hook shots used. I want to see if it's dropped down. I want to see people are finding ways to use it safely, and if so, like what sorts of players are able to do that. I think a lot of people will just like use the hook shot to like go somewhere fast or something. I think I might be giving people a little too little credit about like how they use the hook shot. Like I think most players use it strategically in some way, but I don't think a lot of them will be using it strategically enough to be able to use it for safety in this map. So I still want to see what sorts of players are able to use it for safety, how those players are killed and stuff. The hookshot's gonna have to be a really careful point of observation. Let's see. I'm not too concerned about like how people are going to be destroying that for different routes and stuff. Like again, I'm balancing it based on like general traits, with a lot of like specific interactions accounted for, but sort of like the nature of this that is going to be largely unpredictable in terms of specifics, but pretty predictable in terms of generalizations. So of course, I will be like looking out for people like doing things that could like potentially be like overpowered, but I don't. Uh, but I'm pretty sure that that's not going to end up being that nobody's going to end up finding anything like that, or like if they do, it's going to be something that's pretty difficult. Uh, so yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything that I'm forgetting in terms of things I'm looking for in gameplay. I think I already mentioned moving between layers a lot. Like I want to see like the players who would generally be winning matches, be moving between layers a lot. So like the top player in your average match. That's what I want to see. Like I'm not looking for like pro players to be like doing that or something. Like I'm sure they will, but sort of like just like the above average, being able to do that, or more so being encouraged enough to do that. Uh, yeah, I think I've gotten everything. All right, so I hope like that bit about so like the gameplay specific areas that was gonna be really long and rambling. All right, so I think I'll talk about just like what do you call it? The aesthetics now. All right, so like I said, this is based on Empire Stores, a place in Brooklyn. Uh, Empire Stores has a West Elm shop in there, and I wanted to include something from the real Empire Stores in here. So I decided to add West Elm. Mainly because like I didn't really have like a furniture store. I thought it would help round out the different stores I have in here. this is actually also the first thing I made, which was also based on a place in Empire stores. Um, you'd see that like once you come through like the front, like at like the bottom level, that there's a restaurant with like a fence like this right here. I think it's like Sessione's restaurant or something. Right, but there's a restaurant like that. I'm not sure what the inside that looks like. I like sort of just like did like the inside based on just what I thought would look cool. So like that's not it's like this in here isn't specifically based on what's in there. But the fact that there's a restaurant here with like this like gated area, which I actually should add a seating to. I'll actually do that once I'm done recording this. I can't believe I forgot to add seating. I think I finished this at like 1 a.m. uh this morning. So yeah, I checked like basically everything. Like there was some stuff that I realized I forgot. Like I forgot to add leaves to the trees and stuff. I didn't think I'd forgotten anything else. But yeah, I'll add that in later. Um, so yeah, moving on from that, there's also this oops, if my game would stop lacking. All right, so there's also this like truck area, right? It's just like trucks. There's not really like much going on in here. It's just like stuff to uh the ship or stuff that has been shipped or whatever. All right. Next up is Toy Wiz. All right. So uh let me think. What map was it? It was Terry Plaza, right? Where someone was saying that yeah, one of my friends was saying that that it was cool that both Largest Dog and I would put stuff in the maps that sort of relates to like our real interest, which like I never like, which I never really put much thought to, uh, but like now that I am, it's like I sort of want to do it like more intentionally, right? So, Toy was a website that I used when I was like 8 or so years old. I still remember like uh I'd look on the website every year before Christmas to like find what I want, and so I made a Toy With store. I was actually so surprised to see that the website was still up after all this time, but I was probably like sort of thinking of like what happened with Toys R Us, but like it's not exactly the same situation as Toy was because like at least like I only knew Toy was online back then, right? I'm not sure if it has its physical store now or something. I didn't look much into that. Uh, but from what I understand, Toys R Us just didn't really have like uh the online presence or something like that uh to like really be like viable nowadays, at least like for kids and stuff. So yeah, moving on. There's also this like I think I made this to be like a gift shop. Uh, like a lot of these shops don't have names or anything. Like there's like no space to put signs and stuff. Uh, but I think you can sort of get a sense of like what the shops are just looking at like the layout of certain things. Hopefully, I sort of tested it with my sister and she was able to get a few of them. Uh, so hopefully people who actually like play Murder Myers and are sort of like familiar with things being built with such little detail would be able to understand better. Or especially people who have like been to places like this more. Uh, so yeah, gift shop. This ramen shop over here. I'm really satisfied with the way it looks like, especially from here. If like you crouch, I sort of like I like the layout of like the boxes, the counters and stuff. It sort of looks like an alleyway in some ways, like something that like some sort of alleyway setup. Uh, but it's something I've been thinking, which sort of has me thinking of stuff for my next map. Really vague ideas, but I think it would be a sort of cool aesthetic to have somewhere in there. Let's see, another unlabeled store. This one's really simple. Uh, yeah, pretty simple, but you know, you could sort of see it as like a basic store, probably like the most basic store in this map. Uh, did I get everything on this level? I think I did. So I'm moving up. We have GameStop here. Uh, I know like the GameStop that I used to mainly go to, they had like a place where you can like play games and stuff. So like, I remember that's how I got Borderlands 2. Like the guy recommended it. Um, well, no, I think I was actually playing Borderlands 1. I don't think they like had Borderlands 2 or something. But you know, we decided to try like the original Borderlands game, right? There was like a place to play it, really nice like gaming setup, and you know that was pretty nice. They also had like a place for like I think they did like like some kind of card game tournament. I'm not sure what game it was. Well, not like tournament, but like well, not specifically tournaments. I'm not sure exactly what they did, but like they had places where people would regularly play card games, right? And then you know, and then the rest like their basic shop stuff. So yeah, sort of based. So yeah, it's based on like the GameStop that I would mainly go to. This here is just like a sort of office area, or pretty like a vague, a sort of office area, I guess. All right, you can break into this to find my office, which you can tell because purple seats and a miner gun. That's about it. It's also a cage here, right? Uh, sort of reference to the fact that I have a parrot, Keith. I think this is roughly the size of his current cage, although is it roughly the size? I'm not sure. The scaling in this game is weird, but yeah. Uh, moving on across this bridge with the hook shot. Let's see, it's another shop here. I'm not sure exactly what a lot of these are supposed to be already. Like I've already like sort of forgotten. So what they're supposed to be, but they're really vague anyway. So like, well, like in terms of like, I guess, levels of detail and stuff. Like, there's no way you could really tell, what certain shops are. Like some things like the toy store, like there was no label. I think you could still tell that it was a toy store, right? But for most other shops that sell like more basic things, it's just things that aren't meant to be like super flashy. Like kids' toys are. Uh, I don't think there's really much of a way to uh, get them to be recognizable like that. Now this here is a music store, like both where they like do some performances and where like they sell instruments. Right? I'm not sure if you could tell that. Um, see, I think this is another like basic sort of like gift shop. Right? Really small. Like you got like these containers and like two shelves. Right? So really small shop. Uh, this is based on an art store. Right? So uh, yes, basically it's supposed to be an art store. Not much else to it. I'm gonna move on to these. I'm gonna try to move on through these pretty quickly because, like I said, there's not a whole lot of like detail to them and stuff. Apple stores, you could probably tell. My sister was able to get this one. Yankee Candle. Right. What's the next layer up? Okay, right here. These are some like food shops, right? Well, not just food, like food and beverages. Like you can see, like this water cooler here. I think this one mill has like a giant pot, right? And like this little scaffolding to get up to it. Alright, go back through. Another food shop. What exactly is this? Sort of a more general store, I guess. You could sort of think of this something like, say like TJ Maxx, but obviously not the same. Right, so something just like roughly along those lines, right? Uh, what's back here? I think this is the place of the boats, right? So you got life jackets, you got I forgot what these are called, right? Fishing rods. It's a TV. I think it's supposed to be a TV or a blackboard, right? And then you have these boats on chains where like they could be lowered down into water, right? I might have water up here, but um, if I were to put water here, I'd have it going like all the way out, either all the way out or like have like some sort of pattern where I don't have to go all the way out without it looking weird. But I'm sort of concerned about lag caused by having so many stalks, or like what do you call it, noise caused by the portals. So probably not gonna actually like add water down there, but you could probably get some sense that there's supposed to be water down there. I'm not sure. Moving on. Here's Hyena Agenda. Alright, so Hyena Agenda is an online clothing store that's like furry themed. Right, so of course I put it in the middle of the map. A lot of basic clothes here, although there are some little Easter eggs like Naruto, Harley Quinn. I think I put some other ones in, but probably already forgot them. Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, moving on. That's Hyena Agenda. I think next is Harley Chi, which I think I said already. She's a plant YouTuber. Hopefully I remember to link her in the description because I think she's really cool. I think like the plant YouTube is really underrated. Like I remember I initially started watching Tony Satara, I think his name is. I think his YouTube name is Crime Pays, but Botany doesn't. And I think he's the one who like originally got me like really interested in learning about plants. Uh, I guess I'll link both of their channels. Are there any other YouTubers I mentioned? I think I mentioned Ohio Fish Rescue. Like I didn't like sort of as a reference to like the map I made that sort of gave me the idea of like having like physical stores of like YouTubers like interests. I'm not sure if I did, but like sort of like a thing of Ohio Fish Rescue gave me this idea to do this, and now that I mentioned them, I'll just link them in the description anyway. So yeah, let's see, what's this store? This is sort of like a gas station store, like in terms of the way it looks. Like I even put like the stuff I put back here, like this is supposed to be like alcohol and stuff, and there isn't really like a specific color for cigarette boxes, but like what I did was I had it's like they're supposed to be white boxes, and then there are orange boxes here. So if you're standing back, you sort of get like the cigarette color, and the fact that it's like tucked away behind the desk, I think it's sort of supposed to like have people. Yeah, it's supposed to have people like think of like, oh, this is the place that sells like drugs and stuff that you need to be over 18 or 21 for, right? And then you have this anime shop, right? I put that in what's it called, katakana, right? So uh yeah, pretty basic this is actually supposed to be a manga shop, but like manga just wouldn't it just wouldn't fit here. Like loads of like detail that you get in so few blocks is really limited. So I just put anime here instead. Uh, you have some anime figurines here. So you have Naruto, Natsu, Goku, Luffy, and Deku. Couldn't say that Deku looks like broccoli, but I really don't like My Hero Academia anyway, so that's fine by me. You also have these Naruto clothes here. So Sakura, Naruto, Sasuke. I think these are all the Shippuden version. I think this is like a shop for pool supplies. Oh no, this is the jewelry store. So the pool supply shop would be up here. Right? These are men's and women's like changing like in like bathing rooms, right? It's like showers here. Same on the other side. And then over here, oops. Then over here, you get like this pool supply shop, right? Which is a lot like the what do you call the place, the boats, like for like fishing and stuff, but it's for the pool because the pool is right here. Uh, so yeah, then last few stores you got Louis Vuitton, you got Nike, and did I show this one already? Show the one down here, but I didn't show these two. Right, so oops. I'm not sure what, can't remember what this is supposed to be, but stores are vague. And then this is like a spa sort of area. Right, it has like curtains to be blocked out, and then various things that could be done to you. So yeah, it's also the outside area over here. Pretty like open and basic. Like I sort of want to limit sort of what people could use out here for. This is actually something that I do expect to change eventually. I'm just not sure how I'll change it. Like I definitely want to change the elevation a little bit. I sort of want the outside area to be used as a way of accessing the inside differently. Alright, so for example, if you're down here, you can come out this way, right? And you can use this wall right here to come into the other restaurant. Like you can use that as a different route. So that if someone else is out here or something, or like you're threatened from people who are up here, you have a way to get around that. I don't want people to like be like to always be punished for being down here, but I always want to be punishable. So I think it's good to give them options to be able to survive if they get up the initial engagement. But I still want to encourage people to go upwards more. So they sort of have like time and hours to be able to do that without like being like stuck in one spot. And like while they're out here, they're really exposed to roof players, especially if they get into a gunfight of some sort. Right? So like someone down here. Yeah, so let's say someone's like up here, right? And then they get into a gunfight with someone who's out there. So now the person out here is presumably shooting, and now they're on the minimap. So someone's up here where like they can come over. It's gonna be really easy to kill the person who is down here on this ground area. So I think what I will eventually do is I'll eventually like change the elevation down here in some way. Partly to add like extra interest to it and stuff. But also partly to but also partly to help add ways to for people to actually get back into the more preferable layers of the map. Alright, so I am so like this is another thing that I'm actually gonna be watching. I think this is like the thing I was forgetting earlier. Is that I sort of want to watch how people are using this to see how I could sort of make this more interesting, without encouraging people to be out here. Alright, so this shouldn't be a really impactful area, so I didn't so I wasn't worried too much about leaving it mostly flat, and I might even still leave it mostly flat depending on how it goes. Like I don't think being flat would be a problem, necessarily. Uh, but uh, I I sort of want to make it more interesting in the ways people do end up using it, and then also see if I can allow for ways for people to use it to get in better based on how things are generally broken and stuff. I don't think like any of these outer walls would regularly be broken, like any of the ones on the sides here. But maybe these ones in the middle, because I think these are a lot smaller, a lot thinner generally. Some of these are thinner, like this one obviously has like a layer break in between it too, but some of these, I think this. Of course, this is on the ground level, but this is open and stuff. So uh, I'll be uh pretty carefully like observing that. Man, I'm trying to think if I forgot of anything else. Uh, I don't think I did, so I'm just gonna recap just to, like make sure. Alright, so I'm gonna be watching the hook shot, see if it needs to be moved up or down a bit, to prevent rewarding people who are playing too safely. Well, certainly move up, but I wouldn't move it down. But see if I need to move it up a bit. I want to see if people are intentionally like breaking through things, uh, to get places, especially in terms of attacking other players. And I especially want to use the rocket launcher to help encourage people to do that. I want to see like the winners of most matches uh, do so by moving between layers somewhat frequently. I think I said there's no specific frequency, but like frequently enough to frequently enough so that it's something is that is generally in mind when playing. I also want the things that people break open to be changing the flow of the map. Right, so again, it's generally it's based on general traits. So if you break here, it's gonna have a certain amount of impact, and it's gonna be a different impact if you break here. But I don't, and I want that difference to be noteworthy. But it's not gonna be make or break. Like you could even like break like the whole wall or something, and it shouldn't be a problem. Right, so I want there to be a lot of differences in gameplay between matches based on the differences that the map has as the map progresses. I mean, as the match progresses. So in short, I sort of want this more dynamic gameplay to be encouraged because of that. Right, and then I also want to discourage use of the lowest and highest layers. Uh, lowest those layers are discouraged by having it be punishable if like going down for safety, as you could normally go down pretty safely in like this side of the map, and even other parts of the map to a different extent. Uh, but if you go down to the lowest most layer, even if you're like down here in these stores, you're more punishable than if you were somewhere higher up. Uh, so yeah, I think that's everything. Again, I want like the rocket launchers to help complement the destructibility. Alright, so that's it, and I'll see you on the playtesting.